Alright folks, on this rainy day in the main shed here, where I usually now work on monitors, we have this new item. This is a Commodore 1084S monitor, and this was a very, very generous donation from Glenn. You know him as CRG Casual Retro Gamer. He has a YouTube channel where he does builds and repairs, lately with a lot of Amiga stuff, but more than just Amiga. And I met him at Amiga Ireland this January, just recently, and he said he had this monitor for me. CRG was there with all his gear. He had, I think, at least 3 machines. I had great intentions of doing a video about Amiga Ireland and the different setups and machines there. I have some footage that I can show. Unfortunately, I realized that my microphone wasn't working, so I have a good bit of footage, but it's silent. I'll see if I can put some of the footage. But Glenn had a lot of his machines there. His Amiga 2000, if you follow his channel, you'd have seen him build that. In fact, very much the same way I built my Amiga 1200 recently, and I'm building the Amiga 3000. He built that from scratch, and it's a beautiful, beautiful looking machine. Even the case, I was very jealous of his case. It looked good on video, but up close, it was actually quite spectacular and really, really slick. It might be a direction I'm going for the Amiga 3000. I'll see, although I can't resist some beige stuff. He also had a CD32 and an Amiga 500 that was kitted out. And if I can, I'll show you some footage, and he's very kindly provided some voiceover as to what was in that machine, so maybe I'll put that on.
So this is the 500 Plus. I wanted to do something a little bit different with this machine, rather than just create another 3.1 Workbench Amiga. This one I wanted to try and keep 1.3, but it is booting to a CF card that I have hanging off the side of the machine there. That is attached to an IDE 68K, which is sitting in the CPU socket. Sandwiched with that though is a gotta go fast RAM card as well, giving me 8 meg of fast RAM. To get it to boot to Workbench 1.3, there is a custom patched kickstart in there. And then the only other modification to this machine is the RGB to HDMI, which gives us this nice crisp picture.
Alright, you want to do it? This video is sponsored. That's not what. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. Yeah. They offer PCB manufacturing along with part assembly. Yeah. But they also offer a number of fantastic services like CNC, metal sheet fabrication, 3D printing, and even injection molding, turning it into a one-stop shop for all your projects. Yeah, you did very well. So go to PCBWay.com, upload your project files, and get an instant quote, and thank you to them for sponsoring. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. PCBWay. Hey, there, he brought me this 1084 monitor, and he said that first that it's not working because, or as well as, it suffered a fall and has a few cracks here on the side. You can definitely see those. It's running all through here. Yeah, that's quite bad, and the monitor has separated here. I think the screw's missing anyway, but he says it's not really running, and it's doing funny sound sometimes. So my goal here for this video is obviously to repair it. I've plugged it in here. It's hard to hear, but you can hear a little chirping. This chirping is kind of normal, to be honest, but we're not seeing anything on video. However, if you turn off the machine, there you go, you get this flash. That means a number of things. It's not working, but we got high voltage because the screen is being activated, so the high voltage is working. Flyback is most likely fine, and it probably, if I would guess, it is most likely, looking here, all the pots are missing, all the stuff, so we probably have stuff that is dislodged. I don't think there's anything wrong with the case itself, or we probably have, there you go. So we've got, you'll excuse the refresh rate, we got a raster, we got high voltage, we got a raster, we got things working. That's what it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. We got either cracked PCB in places. I'm not going to leave it on for too long either. Cracked PCB in places, and we've got combination of cracked PCB and probably loose connectors sorts. But the good news is we've got, can I just get this again? No. Huh. Yeah, we've got something loose in there, PCB or otherwise. Can I do some adjustments on this? Yeah, the contrast and colors are what have we got out here. It could be tinkered with. All these pots are very. So we got all the adjustments that are working. So I think this monitor is mostly fine. There's probably some color stuff going on, but there's only one way to find out what is going on is to open it. So I'm going to bring this. Going to put it here first, and I might bring this to my main workbench inside the house afterwards. What am I bringing? Oh, I'm bringing an entire assembly here. It's probably preventing us from lifting. Yes, that's what it was. Yes, that is exactly what it was. So, we got this speaker, something here. I'm not sure what this is. Is that a mod? There's a jack socket. I spotted that on the side, and I'm not sure if that's... is that standard, or is that a mod? If you know, let me know, because I'm always curious about these things. If it's a mod, it's actually a cool little thing. So let me just put this down. You can see this connector here is gone. It will just make sure. And this is why we weren't getting... Should be a little LED here, and I think this is the LED connector. So that should go somewhere like that. Yeah, we can hear it chirping from the... You can see the neck glow. It's a good sign. Yeah. See, wiggling it. And you can hear the chirping from the flyback. So wiggling it. Oh. Yeah, we've got some cold solder stuff. And the way I discharge those, you see, usually you'll see a wire running across the tube. All you see those metal parts. It's all connected. There's also a metal ring going around. It's the implosion ring going around, or anti-implosion ring going around the CRT to keep it together. It's all connected to then ground on the chassis. But I use a thick screwdriver. But yeah, we're just going to insert our thing. Oh, giving some resistance. And I don't think we have a charge at all. Yeah, don't think we have a charge left. So it discharged on its own property. We can now remove this guy. So I'm going to do that next. And similarly, we're going to short this guy across the legs just to make sure it's discharged. It's right here. We're good. Yeah, we should be all good. So I'm going to disconnect everything and maybe bring the board, just the board, inside my workbench. I mean, I don't think I need to look any further than that. You can actually see that there was a giant crack, and there's some repair attempts here that have probably lasted for a while, and I would say are not causing issue. Look at this crack here. So we probably most likely have, it's going as far as a flyback. So this is probably why our flyback is being temperamental. We have a crack running, as far as I can tell, from here all across here. And I wonder who repaired it. It's not bad at all. And yeah, it must have been some epic repair. I can also see some trace repair and damage here. Yeah, I think this is the cause of our problem. Just there's a couple of tracks that are probably loose. Yeah, oh, look at that. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to redo that, and it's right on the flyback as well. I see some rework here that I need to clean as well to see what's going on. But if you look up, so it goes back all the way here, and we're getting to this big filter cap. But I think all of these are okay. It's actually good work. Here it splits, so it runs across some of the pins of the flyback up to here and here, and it ends up here in the corner. I think these are okay. I will do some continuity test, but here, this crack, look at this guy, is lifting, and this is typical and would explain what we were seeing, that when we sort of shift and move the PCB or the case, we eventually get a picture, or at least some high voltage visible on screen. And I think this is because of that. This looks like to be either just one of those power lines or a ground, probably plane, going to one of the pins of the flyback, and it would certainly cause the flyback to squirm a little bit and chirp. And yeah, I think this is one of the, if not the reason of our partially missing high voltage or temporarily missing high voltage. First, I want to clean all the flux residue. I'm going to lightly scratch it and go at it with some isopropyl alcohol and wipe it and rinse and repeat. And then I'll address this guy. So I'm not sure. First, I'm not happy about that PCB moving. See, the problem is if I apply something, it's likely to break again. So I might need to run just a thick wire from here to here, instead of relying on just the strength of the solder to solidify the break here. There you go, no contact on this one. And I'm sure if I wiggle the board a little bit, would get contact. Maybe not even. Yeah, it's hard to, there's no, I can't really apply pressure on these guys. And also I shifted it, so it's probably moved since. But yeah, there's no contact between this area and here. And I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with the schematics, so I'm not sure exactly what that pin 7 is for, but I mean, that's already, we know there's a problem here. Alright, so I've cleaned and checked every single trace and tested okay, except this one I wasn't quite sure. There was a little piece of metal used to bridge because the trace was broken a bit too much here, so just a blob of solder just couldn't quite reach. And you see I've scraped here just to make sure now that it bridges okay, but I think it was okay, but it was actually touching the wire was actually touching this guy here, so that's not good. It's actually not good either. Tested everything along the line, redid the just need to clean that. It's actually just a bit of flux left, just need to clean that, but just redid that entire trace, much more solid now. Yeah, it's not moving. And there was a couple of this cold solder, can't find them anymore, bits somewhere here, anyway, not sure which, that I just reflowed. Other than that, I think that's fine. So I'm very tempted to just go and test this now. I might do a little bit more cleaning on the flux. The flux here was very, very dodgy looking on those traces, so I'm glad I took the time to clean it. I'm not sure if it was bridging anything, probably not. Let's go back to the shed and put this at least connected to the tube and see what we get. It's interesting, on top of the board you can actually see here the crack line, and there's some glue, some type of glue has been used to solidify the board. On this side it's much trickier to do on the other side, but I could see, yeah, here in this area especially, because the crack goes up here somewhere as well, doesn't it? Or somewhere here, whichever way. Oh no, yeah, it goes up here somewhere, and that's what that big line, where that big line was broken. But some glue is being used, which is a good sign. So whoever did that repair probably got it working. All right, so I also removed the metal protector that was here, that's connected to ground, just to check. And I'm glad I did, because here I essentially discovered that there was more rework done, traces of air cracks here, and this was from the ground plane that had been lifted. In fact, whoever did the work before, it's sort of inevitable sometimes, but yeah, you lifted the pads for that. It's no big deal, because all of it connects to ground. It's just we'll have to check that it hasn't lifted something else in the vicinity as well. I see more work here done, and look at this. If this wants to focus at all. But this was actually disconnected, a pad lifted. Might need to redo all those connections and double check that these are okay. There was work done here that looks solid enough. I'm just going to do some continuity test in that area. The crack seems to go somewhere here, and I think that's the end of it. I also took the time to double check the work from a different angle, the previous work from a different angle. And while these guys, these three guys look okay, I'm not sure about this one. Looks like there's a hairline crack, and here I don't know what's going on at all. It could be the reflection, but I don't think that's making proper contact. Alright, so I'm glad I spent a little bit of extra time working on this. I used little bits of a length of metal. I think these were the legs of resistors or capacitors, as thin as I could, so it would all fit. This guy here was very dodgy, and depending on how the board flexed, would make contact or not, so the solder was gone. These are actually big enough to bridge over. They're okay. This actually helps structurally as well with the board and the crack. I did the same thing here, all along here. A bit too much solder here, but that's fine. It just makes contact. More right here. This trace was funny, actually. It curved over. And I think after that, we're okay. There was a couple of dodgy solder points. Where were they? Was it these guys? Yeah, these two guys I reflowed because they were in the way. And then right at the RGB connector, we spotted this guy was a bit dodgy, and there was some the trace was cut here. where the ground plane is. So I just put a more solder just to bridge it over, and same here. All right, so I've got the chassis back on the tube assembly. Let's see. We got stuff. Ah, look at that! Look at that! Yeah, yeah, we get stuff working. That's whatever that edge here. So that's our brightness working fine. I don't have anything plugged to this guy. Oh, interesting. I can't even see anything with the naked eye, but you can see the refresh here. That's because the refresh on my camera isn't set properly. Let me widen this. Contrast, not much effect when there's no picture, and color. And we got the color pot again. We're not going to get much out of that. Next, I'm going to take the tube apart, waiting for the cable to arrive. And I'm going to start fixing this nasty crack here. All right, this is the crack we're dealing with here. It goes down here and up here. I don't think does it go through. And there's still a bit of plastic holding together, so don't think the crack here has gone all the way through, but it's not far off. So I think the best way to fix this, and it's something I've done in the past, similar corner, and I know it says Commodore, but it's a Philips monitor. Their Philips monitor, and it was a Philips monitor 80 that had been cracked right here. The way I'm going to fix this is I'm going to use first super glue just to kind of hold it back together long enough so I can actually work on it. So I'm going to use super glue to fix at least this area, maybe here, to hold it together, and then I'm going to use on the back of it staples, these guys, as best as I can. Maybe I'll have to cut them into just single bits of metal, and I'm going to melt that in the plastic. What it'll do, it'll provide some mechanical reinforcement to this corner, because super glue is not going to last very long, and we need something to help mechanically. This is going to be tricky because there's a lot of funny angles, and the risk, obviously, when you melt plastic is to either go through or to deform the plastic. But I think anything we do here will be better than that. Right, so I started color matching the paint here. So essentially what I was left with, because I managed to get it pretty tight over there, and you can see it doesn't look the best, but I used staples, and turns out this section was all gone as well. I'm not going to bother just cleaning this up or tidying it up or hiding my work. It's on the other side, but on this side, the crack this is the widest. It filled up. I clamped it with the super glue, and it filled up with super glue, and it's actually pretty smooth feeling. It just there's just this crack that actually looks worse than it really is in this light. Yeah, on this close up, it's not as bad in real life. Anyway, so I am matching up the paint color, and it's not too bad. I had to use a tiny bit of filler, and I might need to essentially just sand my job back down when it's all dry and see if I can get a smooth, or will I bother? The paint is still fresh on this side, so, and you work in layers, and I'm using just white, and I've those two Posca pens, the brown and the grey, just to sort of match the tone here, and I think it's doing an okay job. All right, and that's the crack repair there. There's still a little visible crack here, but filled most of it, and that crack used to run from here across there. There was a big gouge here, and then it would go down here across. I think it's okay. I mean, it's much better than a big gouge, and from a overall glance, which is what most people do really, you don't quite see it. All right, so I got the monitor and the board back in, all plugged in. I got this Amiga connected and powered, and I got this cool cable that just connects to the whatever RGB kind of DS9 pin type stuff, whatever. Let's just power this on. Little hiss from the flyback. And have we got... No, we got nothing at all. Oh! We got something. Yeah. Whatever we have, so horizontal shift is working, that's good. That means we got some sync. Is there... Oh, cool. Interesting. So if I wiggle the... Let's see if I can get a stable, at least horizontal. I don't think there's a vertical sync alignment. Oh, it's super sensitive. Yeah, so we have a sync issue. I think color-wise we're good, because I'm seeing a lot of colors. And yeah, everything else seems to be kind of working. Do I have a phase here? Anything. So we have a vertical sync issue on this. From what I understand, there's horizontal and vertical sync going out of the Amiga. So there's probably a combiner circuit that combines the both sync for, you know, to just a single sync in the end. So there's probably either, I would suspect, a combining issue, because I can't quite get a firm horizontal sync either. It wants to roll. Yeah. All right, round two. So there was still a lot of traces that were dodgy. There was a second crack around that VGA RGB connector. It's a VGA type connector, but I fixed those the same way. I didn't show it on video, but look at that. See me. We got sound. And now it's not going to play properly because these demos need a 1260 and I have a 1230 in this Amiga. But yeah, I mean, the refresh rate is not showing it properly, but we got a beautiful picture. It actually looks a lot bluer than it is. The colors are actually all correct here on the in real life, and yeah, all the adjustments are working. I might need to tinker with the size and all that kind of stuff in the background. Again, it's so slow because it needs a 1260, but this monitor is now working. Let me put this back and we're gonna plug this into the black Amiga with the 1260 and just enjoy some demos. All right, folks, here it is. Oh my God, it's looking fantastic. A bit too bright here, but yeah, everything is working fine, and I was just playing a couple of demos and games. Wonderful. This is and oh yeah, I meant show you. I know this is the crack area, which is but hardly visible. Really, you don't even notice the slightly different color. There's a few shades here and there anyway, a few blemishes. It cleaned up quite well as well, and yeah, overall I'm very happy with the result. But it's working. It's working. There were so many cracked traces still, stuff that hadn't been repaired, and just previous repairs that had broken again. I'd say this poor monitor has had a tough life. A tough life indeed, but it's back working. Dude, thank you very much. What a cool donation. What a generous donation as well. And I'll be using that for my Amiga setup for the next Amiga Ireland or any other meetup I go to. But really cool monitor added to the collection. It's great to have a monitor dedicated just for the Amiga. Glenn, thank you very much. Folks, I hope this was interesting. It was quite a marathon of a fix again. I only showed half of my back and forth between the testing and the workbench because there was a lot of just stuff half working. I show you the main parts, but really there was a lot of fixing broken traces. I don't know how many broken traces there was on this board, but quite a lot. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching. I hope this was interesting. I said there would be more monitor repairs on this channel this year, and there is. Don't forget you'll find me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, pretty much anywhere. And there, Banjo Guy Audie is my name everywhere. And there's a Discord server. If you join Patreon, you have access to private rooms on the Discord server. But the Discord server is free for everybody to access. And there's a Patreon, of course, if you want to help the channel. Folks, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.